Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen.
And my name is Katie. And we want to spend a few minutes a day with you walking through the New Testament, one chapter at a time. This year, we will fix our gaze upon Christ so that we may know him, not only with our minds, but with our hearts.
Together, we will learn that who Jesus is changes everything.
Hey friends, welcome back to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Katie, and it's my joy to walk with you through Hebrews in our year-long study through the New Testament. Today, we are studying Hebrews 12. As always, you can follow along with the Behold studies in the Daily Grace Co-shop or with the reading plan linked in the show notes. Hebrews 11 gives us the definition and examples of what it means to be people of faith. Through this, we learn to be people that push through difficult times and hold on to our faith. Hebrews 12 gives us more specifics on how we push through difficult times. Hebrews 12 is the application of Hebrews 11, providing us space to truly have a faith that strengthens us. Hebrews 12 begins with, "Therefore, since we have such a large crowd of witnesses surrounding us, let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that lies before us, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith." This verse is the baseline for the entire chapter. The author is calling his audience, and in turn us, to keep moving forward, even in hardship and even when sin occurs. Our job is to fix our gaze on Jesus, trusting that he will continue to grow our faith so long that we remain in step with him. Jesus endured the cross, regardless of the pain that came with it, because he knew the benefit it would provide to sinners like you and I. Jesus ran the race with endurance, looking to God despite the suffering that he walked through. He is the ultimate example and the one that we should look to as we walk through life. There are two major sections following the introduction in Hebrews 12. The first talks about why the Lord may allow hardship in our life, specifically through discipline. Discipline can sometimes come across as harsh or a negative word. Maybe you think about a parent disciplining their child or a student getting disciplined by a teacher. I remember talking to my parents growing up, and whenever they would discipline me as a child, they would always say something like, "We don't enjoy having to do this, but we need to." In the same way, God doesn't enjoy watching us walk through hard times, but he knows that it is necessary for our growth. Many times, it is in the difficulty that the Lord teaches us. Without the hardship, we may not really know what it means to learn. This section serves as an encouragement in the midst of discipline. Although it is difficult in the moment, the author wants us to know that it is actually for our good. It's so easy to sit in the sadness or to wallow when difficulty comes. But Hebrews 12:11 says, "No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it." This audience has been dealing with tons of persecution and turmoil, yet the author calls them to press onward. May we also see our hardship as learning opportunities rather than hindrances to our faith. The second section serves as a warning to not walk away from the grace God has given us. As believers, we are called to live differently than the world. This is how the world will recognize us as believers, and this is the way of imitating Christ. Some ways the author says that we'll be different from the world include being kind to others, not allowing bitterness to take root in our heart, living morally, and more. Christians are called to be bold because of the story God has written before us. The author of Hebrews compares us to the Israelites in the Old Testament sitting before Mount Sinai. They were fearful of Moses' radiance, and they were terrified of the presence of God. We now have Christ. We have a mediator who has walked through the punishment of sin on our behalf, so that our fear is one of reverence and awe. We have this opportunity because of Jesus. We are called to live out the faith that has been given to us, walking boldly and looking to Christ. We behold Jesus by relying on him in the easy and in the hard times, trusting that he is strengthening our faith. We behold Jesus as our mediator and our example, providing the way we need to live as Christians and taking our place on the cross. Jesus, our perfect King, our peacemaker, and our priest, the one who chose difficulty on our behalf so that we would be free. Let us intentionally behold our God today. I'll see you tomorrow to wrap up the book of Hebrews.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. Don't forget to check out the show notes for helpful links and resources related to today's episode. And make sure you are following at Daily Grace Podcast on Instagram for more A Year in the Bible content, and at the Daily Grace Co. for all things Bible study resources. We can't wait to study again with you tomorrow. Bye, friends.